Yep, we're up. We're up. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, Welcome to another episode of Dollars and Cents. Right,
We're back.
we're back. Right. I was trying to be
We're
like
back.
normal, like we were still here the whole time. But yeah, so we are back. We are back. Dollars and Cents team. We are back. Right. So if you are seeing this, share this to your Facebook page. Let me also let me also go ahead and tell you that we're on YouTube, right? YouTube. You can find us at Dollars and Cents Team. Am I correct, guys?
That's
Yes,
correct.
we've
Dollars,
upgraded.
dollars and cents. Let me see if I can drop that in there. There it is for
All
YouTube.
right.
Dollars and Cents Team. You're seeing this. Just go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification button so that you know when we've posted something. All right. You got the boy here, KP, Kenton Perrin. You have Mr. Affleck,
Wade.
right? The dollar. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Wade. We go by Wade here. All right. So we call him Wade here. My bad, Wade. Right. He's the dollar man. He's the money man. He's Mr. Correct. Right. When we mess up, that's what he does. He'll correct us. No, that's not how it goes. No, this, no, that. And
That's
then, of
us.
course, we have Miss KJ, Miss Keisha from RTS Mortgage Financial. All right.
Go girl.
Road to Success Mortgage Financial.
Yes.
Right. Between the both of them, man, they're, making me look good, always dropping knowledge on here. Making sure that our people are well aware of what's happening out there. Um, just some other preliminary things. So remember, we're on at about 1 o'clock on Thursdays, and we bring you a whole bunch of information, anything money, anything finances, right? So remember to like, follow, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Shout outs, shout outs to our sponsor, RDP Networks. That's Richard Porteous. Shout outs to him for being our sponsor, RDP Networks. He's on IG, that's Instagram. Does network CCTV installations, office, data, and VoIP, Citrix support, backup services. And if you want to catch him on Facebook, he is Richie Porteous. I'm getting a feedback. I don't know if you know. All right, guys. So I think that takes care of all the preliminary things. Um, so we're back to here talk about all things financial again. What are we getting into? Do we have any icebreakers, Mr.
Well,
Wade?
you know what? Speaking of icebreakers,
Yeah.
you don't need ice where you are, but that's okay. Or maybe you do. We have we have a lot of snow and stuff here. But our very first show that we did, we
Hmm.
talked about serve, right? And we were breaking down the article with talking about paying back and who would have to pay back serve. Now,
Right.
lo and behold, here we are starting season 2. And what do you think we're going to talk about today? We're going to at least start talking about serve.
Serb again. And
Well, because
just for well, I think everybody might be familiar with what CERB means, CERB. What is it? Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit. Is that what it's?
that is absolutely correct. You haven't
Okay.
forgotten your roots. Yes.
So that's old news now. I mean, what's the big deal? Is what do you have?
Old news in terms of what?
Well, it says CERB. We started out with CERB,
Yeah,
and
well, it just came.
some,
I just saw
somebody.
this article, just came across this article today that
Okay.
says that over 200,000 Canadians who receive CERB payments
Hmm.
will gonna have to repay them. We're gonna have to repay it because they did not qualify for the CERB payments, and
Okay.
so they're going to have to repay it. Because remember, the whole premise that we started on was that saying that people believing that it was free money, but it was not free money. It was not money that you just got and that's the end of it. If you
Uh-huh.
got it and you didn't qualify, you were going to have to repay it. And also, what we talked about was that it's taxable,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's also taxable. So, yeah, um, yeah, that's pretty much where it is. If you could, I don't know if you have the article, you can share your screen with the article, then we can look at that.
Well, I have two of them. It doesn't matter which one, right?
It doesn't matter which one. I think they're both saying the same thing. One says 190,000 who receive CERB have had to repay them. Looks
Yeah.
like that looks historical. The other one says 200,000 may have to repay. So
So that's the well, I'm using a different technology right now, so I'm trying to fiddle around and figure it out. But I just showed the link.
right,
If folks, all individuals have to do is pretty much just check the link out or typing the CERB payment repayments, and they'll get the link. This one is
yeah.
from CTV News, but didn't we say this when we spoke about this originally when we spoke about what did we talk about? Yes, people, the idea that individuals had in their head about free money from the government, right?
Mhm.
We when it was first coming out, it was for the emergency, an emergency situation, and we didn't have all the details, we didn't have all the information. But when it comes to dealing with government, so when it comes to dealing with politicians, there's no such thing as free. Isn't that the case? So now that we're getting this, I guess we shouldn't be surprised, should we?
Not at all.
I think not only that, I think there are some people, based on the way the system was set up as well, that got duplicate funds sent out.
Hmm.
There's a lot of confusion, right? In the beginning, people didn't completely understand. Some people, they submitted a request for the CERB as well as unemployment. There's a bit of confusion there. And of course, I'm sure that some people diligently, returned the funds if there was a duplicate, but then there are some who didn't, or for whatever reason there be,
Hmm.
at that time. And so, if the government obviously is checking the system and seeing that there's a duplication, then this is what's happening, that they're going after those who received double payments or shouldn't have received to begin with.
Right.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
indeed.
Well, I guess there was a grab. A lot of
Mhm.
I heard a whole lot of stories. I won't repeat them, but there were a lot of stories in terms of grabbing everybody applying for it. I don't know. Is that me? Like I'm hearing a feedback.
Not really hearing
No, I just want to make sure.
tremendous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hearing it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's coming across clear. I don't want any distortions in the broadcast. All right, it would seem like it's gone now.
Okay,
Who
whatever you.
who who muted just now? Okay.
Me. So it looks like it's my end. I'm the problem.
Ah, no, never a problem, Keish. Never a problem.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay. So when you mute, the distortion ends, but it's okay. Once you come on, then just unmute yourself. But that's okay. We're supposed to be good now.
Also, I just sent another link. There has been a link that's been going around too. I think it's the learners, a new funds that the government is giving for children. Just trying to pull it
Yeah.
up.
What is it? The one with the Black Entrepreneurship Program? Is that
No, it was right before that. Support for learners.
Oh, support for learners.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You got a $200.
Yeah, so this is a new one. I sent the link in the group now.
$200 for each child
Yes.
up to age 12, and 250 for each child or youth up to age 21 with special needs. Deadline is January the 15th. Hey, we caught the deadline this time.
We are early. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, your eligibility up to age 12, and then the second up to age 21 if they have special needs. Okay. So the government is still trying to do its best, man, in the midst of the pandemic.
Well, that's that's all they can do right now is to do whatever they can to keep the economy going,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about. And because you don't give people money to spend, then they won't have it to spend. It's bad enough that some small businesses are really suffering right now because of the
Yes.
lockdown that we've had to experience in Toronto and in Peel region. That's just what it is. So the government is doing the best they can, but we're gonna, when this is all over, there's gonna be one whopping tax bill to be paid.
Oh wow.
Man. Well, like I said, shout out to the government for doing some good, but there are a lot of things that they're still working out. We well, not may, more than likely, the people are the ones who are going to have to be taxed in terms of getting the stuff back. But all right, so I mean, so we're starting off kind of sad for our first time back. Yeah, you can repay your CERB, but Keisha dropped something in there about us getting a $200 and $250, so that's good. But then Wade come back with something else. We might be taxed. We might be taxed. Oh,
Say what?
no, we're always taxed, sir. It may not be too bad.
Yeah.
So listen, that takes care of our icebreakers. What are we getting into?
All right.
We're getting into transitions.
Yes, indeed. Transitions, transformations, new beginnings in life. What sometimes appears to be the end is really the beginning
of something else.
Right.
You go, philosopher.
I was about to say that was just so philosophical there, man. I love it. I love it.
Time off. She's been taking some philosophy courses during her time off, in her break, mid-season, in between seasons. She was doing some philosophy.
So what is why did you cue that up, Keisha?
Why did what?
Why did you cue that up like that?
Oh well, I want for you to take the floor actually, because we know that you did a bit of a transition.
Oh, I'm not around.
Hey, Kate.
Oh, yeah.
Kate, try not using the earpiece because we're getting really bad feedback.
You're getting fit?
Yeah. Well, I am.
I hear you now.
I'm not hearing you at all.
How about now?
Yes.
Is there still a feedback?
No, not. Continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, I'm using a new platform.
And that's okay. There's going to be hiccups, but we will get to the point of somewhat perfection. There's always going to be something. It's all good.
Listen, shout out.
Keisha is so optimistic.
Yes.
You gotta be. On that note, I wanted to bring up something very quickly. I met with an ex-coworker, and she's actually doing, I believe it's taking a baking course or something to that effect, right? and she has to be teamed up with someone. And she was a bit discouraged because the person she was teamed up with works very, very slow. And, she was trying to, speak to the instructor to possibly, connect her with someone else. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, you know what? Sometimes, these things we're putting situations that's going to allow us to perfect, whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. And don't take it as a bad thing, because, you working with someone who's moving a little bit slower is going to help you to perfect your craft a whole lot better, being able to work in that type of environment, right? So everything happens for a reason, right? And she said, you know what? Actually, I never looked at it that way. Thank you so much. And it is true. Yes, that person may not be as fast, and she might be helping that person as well, right? But that's allowing her, to kind of take on the load if she finds herself in that environment, to make sure that the business keeps flourishing based on the knowledge that she's gained and the way she's able to handle a situation where a lot of the workload is kind of falling on her, which, may not always be desirable, but you have to, find the good in that and allow that to master your craft, because you're able to work under those conditions. Right. So that's my extra positivity for this. Yeah.
You go ahead. No, I'm very, very positive.
Yes.
So in terms, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just following up on your question about myself here. So of course I'm the one who transitioned recently. Mm-hmm. I'm currently in Florida right now, and I just have to put this in there. The weather's nice outside. Let's continue.
Okay, this is what I think about that.
All right. In terms of everything that we have spoken about since we started this show, been going through it, right? So remember, we had some lengthy, extensive talks about credit. Oh my goodness. For everything. Getting a phone. Of course, I'm in the process of trying to find a home and all these different things. They have to do credit checks, soft credit checks, hard credit checks, right? You have to open a bank account, credit comes into play. Trying to get a credit card, your credit history matters, right? That's, and because I'm coming from Canada, the information isn't shared necessarily. So, they're not able to access my credit information back in Canada. So they go off of, I don't know how they do. Let's just say you've never been here before and you're establishing yourself. Once you open up an account or they look at your credit history, there's nothing on it. There is a credit score that you are assigned. It's not that high, but it's just like you starting off with a blank slate, right? In my particular case, I was here for school 2 times. The second time, or the most recent, was when I was working on my master's degree, and I had a credit card. Now, I was under the impression that I had cleared that credit card, but there was actually one payment left on it, and I really didn't know until I came back here. So that became an issue. So just like we spoke about, I think, Keisha, you really drilled down on that point. Call the credit bureau and ask them, if or just do a credit check on yourself and find out what you have on your record, because it just left my mind. I really had no clue. And then when I came here and I was trying to establish myself and trying to set things up, guess what? You have that stain on your record.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So on that note, we can take that up if we want in terms of any questions you may have around that or whatever the case is. So you make sure to check, folks. Go right now. You don't have to be transitioning. Just go ahead and check to see if you have anything on your record.
Yeah, and this goes back to what we were saying when we had that show on credit history and credit scores. Right. You've got to keep that thing, you have to keep it great, right? Because it matters, and it matters what depends on your interest rate. It matters what or depending on your credit score, it greatly has to do with how much negotiating power you have, also your interest rate that you get on certain loans, and even if you qualify, even loans that you qualify for, has to your interest rate matters, and so you bring us a real live experience from based on your transitional phase, and as you still continue transition, so you should have listened to what we said.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be careful of the things that you do today, for you may be judged by them tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, go check, folks. Just don't let it sit down. Go see if you even if you remember maybe a company you might call, find out, see what the situation is. So yeah, I'm doubling down on everything that you guys we spoke about, but specifically credit scores and and checking. Just call. It doesn't cost anything to call and find out. Do your Equifax thing and all that, right?
Or TransUnion,
right? Do all of that. So, and it takes a while, by the way. You have to be patient. It doesn't. When I say a while, it may not take a year. I mean, if you owe a substantial amount, then that's a different story. But if it's a small amount, 300 or 400 or $500, right? I didn't even play around. I said, well, if that's I just paid it. I tried to get them to, can you give me a discount? And they said, so they were talking about, you want to settle this, and but it still stays on your record versus just clearing it, and so I said, I didn't have time for that. I just needed it to be gone.
You're too new in the country to have a record.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's on the credit end, in terms of knowing, and you, like I said, I think in terms of talking about that piece there, it's important that you just be a little patient, right?
So KP,
yeah.
So pretty much everything you needed to do financially was tied into that credit score, pretty much.
Everything.
Trying to get somewhere to live. If you want a car, if you want to open a bank account, well, bank account not so much, but it helps, right? Okay. So
yeah, well, on the bank end, it was very straightforward. You got some funds, you've got to put it in there. Of course, I'm bringing that up. It may seem like just regular everyday run of the mill type thing, but it's dealing with money, right? You got to go find a bank you trust. You got to do some research. Some banks are a little bit more strict than others, right? In terms of you coming in as a newcomer, and I guess I'm putting it forward. In terms of coming in, some of them, it's not that straightforward. If you don't have something with your address on it, they're not letting you in. You need something with an address on it. And you're like, you have, maybe it's just because they don't think you have a lot of money. Maybe a person with a lot of money may not have the same obstacles, right? But it's very challenging to open a bank account when you don't have something with your name on it.
You don't have a fixed address.
You don't have a fixed address or something like that. Yeah.
You wonder.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying, well, I have money. You don't want my business. I got money. But no, they said, no, you need something with an address on it, sir. And you need two of them as well. Two of them.
I noticed that we have some Canadian dollars in the background, as our backdrop. Is that what you tried to put in the bank?
Maybe. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But so that was from the the knowing your credit history, going and making sure to check, then going to the bank and all these different things. I actually made a list here. Then maybe you want to establish some credit right now that you're here, or let's just pretend like I didn't have that stain on there. So it's about looking into credit card companies now. And guess what? Your credit comes back into play. So they're saying your credit score isn't high enough for us to give you a card. Right? So you have the dynamics there once again of trying to establish yourself. but you're running into challenges. You're transitioning from a different country. You're gonna run into that, and it's good to be aware of it. If I don't want to forget this one point, if we talk about it some more, then that's fine. If not, we can just continue move with the conversation. If you whether you travel to the US or you're planning to transition to the US, it doesn't matter. I would suggest, of course, being responsible as well. Get you a US credit card. Just get it.
Why is
Right?
that?
To establish credit.
Get a US credit card or get a credit card in the US? Which one?
Okay, well, I mean, as long as the card allows you to establish credit here, that's my point. So,
and I have cards that do that. I have Neiman Marcus, cards like that allow me to establish credit on that side.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, maybe you travel here frequently. Granted, the coronavirus is sort of restricting us right now. I'm just talking outside of that. So in terms of, allowing yourself a little bit more freedom when you're traveling, or a little more, because when you use the Canadian card, you do pay a hefty fee, right? Or for the conversion and all these different things. So if you can, just for regular travel, but once you're transitioning, if you can somehow, some sort of card, I don't know, of course, I'm getting used to all these different things, on whatever card allows you to establish credit here.
Mm-hmm.
Look into, do some research.
Victoria's Secret used to be a very big one. Okay. Until they came over here. So there are different type of cards. I mean, overall, it is very important. You may be transitioning. It might not be the U.S. It might be another country. It could be England. It could be in Europe. Whether it be work related or it could be school related as well. And while you're there, you may need some sort of a credit over time. You may decide to stay. So you definitely want to make sure that you're maintaining yourself overall where credit is concerned, because once again, as I said, credit does rule, right? It makes a difference. It's a difference between you being put into a box and having options.
Yeah. Good point, Keisha. On it could be England or wherever, right? But you definitely want to establish some sort of history there. Your work history comes into play, of course. All types of things, but on the financial end, my suggestion is to use something to establish some presence in the US. And I think my I guess the best advice I'm giving around that is see if you can get a credit card. So you want to hear something about the housing side?
Yeah, tell us about the housing market, the house hunting, renting versus buying. What?
You don't have any other questions on anything I've said so far?
Are there bidding wars over there?
Are there what?
Bidding wars?
Bidding wars.
I mean, in terms of, first of all, in terms of finding the home, you have to figure out the location. Just like you said, Keisha, right? Where do you want to live? What's the better here? You have to be careful because you're susceptible to hurricanes and heavy rains.
Yeah.
Right. So what happened?
I thought it was paradise.
Yeah, it is. It is. I can give you the time that you have to be careful, but overall, it's
all right. Carry on. Continue your.
So you have to know your location, because money comes into play once again, Keisha. You have to, depending on where you want to live, it's going to cost more, right? Here, the closer you are in the south, it's more expensive, but the further north, Florida you go, it's a little bit cheaper, and the sizes increase as well. But it doesn't matter if your credit is not up to par, because a lot of the HOAs, like even the homeowners associations, that's how they do things down here. Credit, man. No, or if your credit isn't up to par, they want a hefty upfront moving cost, right?
Like your deposit.
Deposits and payments, all these different things, security deposits, and sometimes when you go check these places, uh, just to start the process, they may charge. Everybody have their own way.
Hmm.
They may charge a certain amount of dollars. They take a percentage of that. So let's just say you've hit like 5-6 places. You multiply whether it's a small amount or a large amount.
Yeah.
So you want $500, and they say, well, you only get a portion of that back. You know,
Right.
so maybe they want something smaller, $100 or something. But money just coming out. So that's why the credit being established is very, very important, because you can avoid all these expenditures.
But
The bidding in terms of, I don't know the dynamics, Keisha, but I do know this much. Like a couple places that we have looked at, you would have like many offers, and it's not necessarily we're looking to purchase just yet. For our situation, it's best if you rent for a short time, right? But in terms of, so in terms of the bidding, you'll have multiple offers. So that's as far as I've seen it. I don't know the details of it.
so the credit score is the clicker.
It's
Is the clincher.
king.
Yeah.
And add to that money. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because if it's a rental property, it's not really a bidding war so much on the price.
Right.
It's more on who will be more stable. Who going to pay me my rent?
Right.
So,
And there's a little bit on the price too, because there are some people who will, granted, of course, that their credit is good and they have strong income, but also some people are offering to pay more to rent certain places as well, depending.
For sure. You got those exceptions for sure.
right.
But yeah, that's what it is on the housing and renting versus buying. Like if you have all things in place, then maybe for you have some funds, you have the credit and all, then maybe buying is good when you're transitioning for the first time. If not, you may just want to take your time to sort of establish yourself, and then you move to the buying, from renting to buying.
Right. Okay. What else was there? Something about taxes.
Yeah.
Paying taxes.
I haven't, so the dynamics and the details of that part, I don't know yet. I'm even that's how brand new I am. I'm getting that situated and sorted out, and finding a tax person to help me navigate this whole thing. What the tax laws and tax codes and the policies here in Florida, what they are. I'm still navigating those things, but it's important to know, though, earlier than rather than
because I know that in your line of work, I think you are treated a little differently when it comes to the tax situation.
Correct.
I think they treat you as a corporation, you treat you as a company.
Right.
So I will say this to you: keep all your receipts.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
I believe that I heard over there in the U.S., because my cousin lives over there, mentioned something about it, something you may want to look into when you're actually paying tithes in the U.S. You have to have a monthly statement to confirm that, because when he tried to claim for the whole year, there was some stipulation in there where the tax officers on the U.S. side there was questioning it, and there was an article, actually, I would have to look for that article, where they were not accepting this couple's tax receipt because it was not done monthly; it was just together. So that's something you may want to query about to make sure that if that is the case, then that you are making sure that you guys are keeping that monthly, as opposed to at the end of the year, like how we do here. We get that receipt, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorting that out.
Yeah.
All right. So it in all, with this whole experience, what would you say your number one takeaway was?
I'm getting a huge feedback there. I don't know if we have multiple devices going at the same time, but all right. In terms of my I don't know if what would it be? I think one, you just be patient, and don't make any rush decisions, right? If things are not in place, take your time and get them in place, right? Because things I didn't get into. I didn't get into, like, you have to pay to change your license over. You have to pay to change your license plates, or there are lots of things. Get establishing car insurance. All these require money, and we're here talking about money.
Money, right? Tell me about the importation of the vehicle, because you had to import the vehicle, right?
Yeah, it would have been, fortunate enough, my employer took on that cost, but that would have cost, like, a couple $1,000s. Well,
yeah, because I think they took the value of the car and you have to pay the taxes on that. And
basically the dynamics of that, you wouldn't want to go through if somebody else is not dealing with it. So, for example, the moving company, they know all those things, and they will deal with it. You just have to provide them, like, your car has to be, your tags cannot be expired. Everything cannot be expired, right? When it comes to your car, everything must be up to date. The car is in good working condition. Of course, you wouldn't want to, if the car is not working, well, you wouldn't want to worry about it. But all those things, my employer took care of, so I didn't have to worry about those dynamics. Sometimes it's better to just leave the vehicle and just come. And like I said, depending on what your situation is, that might work for you. If not, you may need a vehicle when you come because you don't have the resources. Then you may want to carry your vehicle with you. All right, but I mean, we have extended our time.
Yeah.
I don't want to go over much, right?
All right.
Unless I know that we're all busy people and there are things that we have going on, but I just wanted to share that experience, these experiences.
All right, Mr. Abercrombie and Fitch.
You're not giving me any money. That's why I'm doing my best to hide it. And when they're ready to give me some funds, then I'll pump it up.
Yeah, well, I'll say that it's good to be back. I missed you all in this forum, and it's good to be talking dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Shout out.
No, listen, once again, shout outs to our sponsor, RDP Networks. RDP Network, shout out to our sponsor, Richard.
We're still trying to give this away.
Yeah, we got to do that before the year ends, right?
That's right.
Yes.
So we'll come up with a contest or something.
Yeah, something. You want security cameras installed. You need computers. You need anything tech. You need to hit up Mr. Richie Porteous. Richie on Facebook. IG, he is r.d.p networks. All right. And for all of your tech needs, hit him up. I gotta also give shout outs, Keisha. I don't know if you know that our friend Wade here is on radio. Did you know that?
No. Did you mention something? I think you mentioned that, but what station again is that? He did actually mention it. Oh boy. Update. You say when's the first, airing.
You make sure, sir, to let people know what your social media platforms are. Or can they find you on IG?
You can find me at IG at pastor_TA.
Okay.
What is it? Let me find it. I don't even know.
What's your social media handle, Keish? Your email is KJ at RTS.
RTS, yeah.
Okay.
MorganFinancial.com, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on IG at pastor_TA.
Okay. All right. And you're on Facebook too, right?
Yes.
And you're after. Yeah, you're Travis. That's what you are on Facebook. My goodness.
And I'm on IG as well, RTS Mortgage Financial.
Okay, so it's consistent, right? So we all across the platform, and you can find me on IG as well. You know, Kenton Perrin. You can find me Pay Pontos. You can find me for Eat Healthy, Live Free. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. Right.
Man, you just international. You everywhere.
Listen, in the words of a friend, man, if you're not online, you ain't doing nothing. That's what he said.
Okay.
All right.
That's right.
All right. So until next time.
And remember, dollars and cents, bringing knowledge and opportunity to those in the community.
Dollars and cents, making sense of your dollars.
That's right. This is Dollars and Cents. That's our podcast, Dollars and Cents. You hear all of our catch lines or catchphrases right there.
All right.
All right, folks. So we're gonna catch up next week, next Thursday, 1 p.m. We'll bring you some more information as always. Remember, we subscribe. We are on YouTube, right? We're gonna be utilizing our Facebook page a little bit more, so you'll see us on there, Dollars and Cents team. All right, that's who will be on. That's our Facebook page. So we will connect with you next Thursday. All right, take care of yourselves.
All right, take it easy.